Hi everybody, Troy St. George with CW Title here, talking in regards to one of the things that is not always the easiest thing to talk about when we're dealing with title and escrow, and that is divorces. In the legal world, divorces are very different than obviously a quiet title action where you're suing over property, or a probate situation where you're dealing with heirs and an estate. In a divorce situation, which are oftentimes reasons why people would sell or even purchase a piece of property, we have to deal with the legal ramifications of a divorce. And sometimes an unfortunate situation and sometimes not so unfortunate, but we never know until we're actually involved with the parties. Divorces can have a different effect, and it all depends on the timing and the specifics of each situation. We can have pending divorces. So if we have a husband and wife that are vested in title and they are currently going through divorce, they are technically still married until that divorce is finalized and a decree of dissolution is entered. So we would have all parties sign on the deed out to the new buyer. We would also have the parties acknowledge where the proceeds are going to go. We don't allow the use of powers of attorney from one to the other because obviously, as you can well imagine, not all divorces are typically amicable, and so to have one party allowed to sign on behalf of the other party without that party agreeing to those terms creates some challenges. So pending divorces, each one's a little different. And I will say, and I'll say as you have probably heard from either myself or in other title classes before, when you see this item, pick up the phone, call your title officer, and let's walk through that to see what it is that we're going to need to ensure that we don't have any hangups at closing at that point. Now, the other one is divorces that are already closed. And without dating myself, I know I have a little bit of gray hair, but back in the early to mid 2000s, when a divorce was filed in the county where the property is located, a divorce decree is entered. It was the actual divorce decree that would specifically spell out the terms of that divorce. Did the wife get the property? Did the husband get a lien? And how did those things take place? Over the years, we've seen an evolution to the decree always, or not always, but typically referring back to a property settlement agreement, which is not always filed in the court. So what we need to do is we need to make sure that A, the decree is filed. Are there any terms? If there are no specific terms in there, then we need to get a copy of the property settlement agreement. And if it's not filed with the court, we can't take a copy that is just somebody's copy. We have to have all of those parties sign off on it. Believe it or not, I actually did see one time where a disgruntled ex-spouse provided us a property settlement agreement, and the property settlement agreement wasn't actually the one that was signed by all the parties. So we have to make sure that we're getting a certified copy or an attorney copy and from an independent source other than the parties that are benefited by that for all of the obvious reasons. We also then, if we have all of that information, then we make the payoffs and we go through the process of clearing the title and having the appropriate people signed. Generally, relatively simple. What you may or may not know, and we've been trumpeting this for many years, is Lincoln County in eastern Washington has a convenient mail-in divorce program. When we search a property in King, Pierce, Snohomish, or Thurston counties, we are looking in each of those counties for matters of record against the parties, divorces, probates, etc. We don't search Lincoln County every single time to see if the parties have been divorced. It's quite popular. It's relatively inexpensive, typically does not require the use of attorneys, and has the same legal effect on real property here as it does anywhere else in the state, or as if a divorce in King, Pierce, Snohomish, or Thurston County. So if you see our vesting in title and we're showing husband and wife, but your clients, especially if you're representing the seller, obviously, and your clients are not married anymore, then that's one of those questions. So if you see something in that vesting, then raise the red flag, give us a call, and we'll be able to work through that. Divorces, especially pending ones, when we're dealing with sellers going through pending divorces, can be a little tricky. If we need to set up separate signing appointments, let's do that as well. The more information we have from you, our clients, the better it will be to make sure that we're having a successful closing for everyone. So thank you very much, and please let us know if you have any questions on pending and closed divorces and their effect on title.